Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Bloth. Today, we are going to be pitching a brand new television series, as we do every single day of our lives. We sit here in this room together, alone, pitching television series that will never be made. Together alone. Because isn't that what the human experience is, Jacob? Being together and yet being totally alone.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right over here.
Jake's doing fine. He's got a cactus on his side of the room, so he's not really alone.
Yeah. You're only alone if you think you're alone.
I have a drawing of a cactus on a piece of paper that I stole from Jake when he wasn't looking.
Yeah, he's kind of weird, to be honest.
The cactus or me? Or the drawing of the cactus?
So what's your pitch today, Charles?
All right, my pitch. Yesterday, in the previous 48 hours, I watched a film by the name of Mad God, directed by one Phil Tippett. And this film, it took about 30 years to be made. It is a glorious, nightmarish journey into the mind of a madman. It's a mixture of David Lynch, Jodorowsky, and Burton-esque aesthetics to create something entirely new, and it's a glorious achievement in terms of stop-motion animation. It is one of my favorite films of the year, for show. But it is also a very surreal film, a very weird film that does not always have the most pronounced logical through line. And with that inspiration, I decided I wanted to make something that was equally as surreal and odd. And, a little bit out there. Like a little bit more weird and a little bit less sensical than our previous series. So, the series today is Dream Submarine Machine. Maybe you take off the machine at the end. Or not.
Slumber Submarine. Sleeping Snooze Submarine. I'm just trying to come up with the alliteration here.
Yeah.
Because Dream Submarine, we all know the fans of this show, right? They'll make it smaller.
Yeah.
And they'll call it DS, and then you're going to get sued by Nintendo.
I'm okay with that.
And then it's over.
Nintendo can come for me.
Yeah, well, you're going to say that until they do.
Until they do, and then I'm going to cry. And I'm going to hire Donkey Kong to be my lawyer, because he's got a tie.
Waterboarded by Donkey Kong.
I'm okay with that. If I was going to get waterboarded by anyone, it would be Donkey Kong or Bill Murray. So this series is about the universal subconscious plane, the Sea of Dreams, a purely theoretical dimension where dream logic is king and life is a commodity few see as sacred. An experimental vessel...
Wait, what did you say the plane's called?
The universal subconscious plane.
Subconscious submarine.
Oh, that's much
Submarine.
Yeah, the subconscious submarine. That's pretty good.
Submarine. Maybe if you just called it submarine in all caps, the sub part. People will get it. Subconscious submarine.
I feel like
subconscious is too long of a word.
It is a long word. That's why I shortened it to the USP, because an experimental vessel, a submarine built
UPS?
for dreams, has been close enough.
United States Postal Service? Is that what it is? USPS?
Yeah. You know what? Actually, that would be funny. Let's say that the secret government organization that fired this submarine into the USP is the UPS.
USPS.
USPS.
UPS is a corporation.
Yeah, is a pretty good corporation. Is it good? I don't know. I don't know anything about that.
I'm pretty sure maybe they're bad. I don't know.
I think that's an oxymoron.
Somebody probably knows better.
I said good corporation. I think that's an oxymoron. I don't think there are any good corporations, except for the Very Reasonable Pilots Corporation. We should start a corporation.
How about Sack Time Submarine? Slumber Submarine.
Sack Time? I think Subconscious Submarine.
I looked up words, like synonyms for sleep. I'm just saying shit. So if throughout the episode I'm just gonna randomly intervene with.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, this submarine was launched into the USP to see what happens when people are in this like dream realm for extended periods of time. So it's an entire submarine staffed by like dozens of people, and they're all like underpaid, postal service workers. So they don't really know what's going on. But the main three characters of the show are the captain of the ship, Sharon Willis, who is a stern, old school sea woman, like she's a Navy captain. She's got very much, she represses her emotions, she puts them down, she doesn't really show emotion very much. She's not really accepting of change. She doesn't really care very much to change the way she does things. And she has a dark secret that she does not want to share with the rest of the crew, even though she deeply cares for the rest of the crew. Like, she is the kind of captain who will lay her life down for her crew. But she definitely has a lot of secrets and a lot of things that she believes it's better for her to keep quiet. Then our second character is Chief Navigator Ryan Winthrop, who is goofy, fun, and not particularly precise. He's not a Navy navigator, because they are no longer in seas. They are in the realm of metaphor and symbolism. So he is a dream scientist. Like, he studies psychology, and he firmly believes that dreams are a, manifestation of people's interpersonal problems. So he believes that each one of the, situations that they find themselves on is related to other people. And the final main character is Chief Science Officer Heather. She doesn't have a name besides Heather. Her full name is just Heather.
Already my favorite character.
Yeah, she is morally bankrupt. She experiments on the crew without them knowing, and she knows the captain's dirty little secret, so she is capable of, holding that over her in order to continue her experimentation, right? And I tried to get all three of these characters to represent a different psychological, standpoint. If that makes sense?
Okay.
Science Officer Heather is meant to me to represent Freudian, psychology, a Freudian, psychoanalyst sort of perspective, who doesn't really see the person as being very important, but instead is interested in knowledge and interested in understanding what's going on. And whereas Chief Navigator Ryan Winthrop is much more of a humanist, he's much more of I think his name's something Rogers, who is the creator of humanism, who believes that people are the most important part of psychological, studies, and that human beings are innately deserving of time and effort in order to help them, right?
Yeah.
And Captain Willis is a Carl Jung style character who believes in not waiting for people to help you solve your own problems, like asking a scientist or a therapist or somebody for help. She believes very firmly in you either help yourself or nobody will, right? And all three of these different perspectives will clash in different episodes, leading towards different kinds of dream realms. Because the thing about the USP is it is outside of linear time. So every dream that has ever existed exists within this universal subconscious realm at the same time. So that includes dreams of these characters from when they were children, right? From before they went into the submarine. And it also includes the dreams of things that are maybe not humans, right? Like, we know that animals dream, so it will include dreams of animals and dreams of aliens, But nothing is ever really explained. That's kind of my big thing about this series, is I want them to come into contact with new and interesting dream worlds and dream concepts, and these dream concepts are representative of real world fears and anxieties of actual people, but I never want that to be explicitly stated, right? So for an example, a reoccurring dream that I have, it's more of a nightmare, is that I am stuck within a sitcom, 3-camera sitcom situation where I where I am like constantly coming to the characters who I am, are real people in my life, but in the dream they're just characters. And the sitcom dream logic does not really mesh very well with actual real world logic, so I'm sort of in this like nightmarish world where no one listens to any of my problems. And so the thing,
because you're like, I really messed up and having a tough time with this person, and they're like, ha 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 ha, the barber stole my hair dryer.
Well, at least she kissed you before she kicked your ass. and then there's a laugh track.
Just a laugh track. Yeah.
So the idea for this dream world, which I have, is based off of this dream world, comes from the subconscious mind of somebody who is either mentally or physically abused by a famous sitcom actor, right? And that's never going to be stated outwardly to the audience, but that's kind of the idea.
Except for like the vivid photos of Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, beating me up with a crowbar.
With a crowbar.
Yeah. It'll be good. We'll have a whole
just,
day.
they're spliced in, so every once in a while you get like just a frame of just Jerry Seinfeld with a crowbar. And you'll be like, did I see that? And you're like, not really sure.
Not even beating up somebody from the show, beating us up. Us too.
No, I'm not there. You're
okay.
The one that's getting crowbarred.
Maybe you're taking the pictures.
Him and I have a great relationship.
Yeah, you guys hold hands. You get ice cream on the weekends. I know. Mm-hmm. Although he hasn't invited you to get coffee in a car. Well, you're not a comedian, are you? This isn't...
I'm on his secret Comedians in Cars, but only for comedians show.
Comedians in cars getting coffee in secret. In silence. Comedians. But yeah, this sitcom universe, this sitcom dream realm is like... the main character, we would have like one or two of the main characters be out and about in this dream realm. And
what about Siesta Submarine?
That's... I still think Submarine makes the most sense, or Subconscious Submarine. But you keep coming up with new ones. I
told you I'm just gonna shoot them out throughout the episode, so keep going.
But yeah, you
can ignore me if you want. Just keep going.
That's fair. All of the characters, like all of the people within the sitcom, are doing like horrible, debaucherous, violent things to each other, and it's just encouraged by this symphony of laughter that's coming from nowhere. And the main character is just trying to make heads or tails of it. And one important thing about this series is that the submarine, like the actual vessel, is the only place that these characters are, like, safe.
Somnia Submarine.
That's not bad.
Somnia is dreams in Latin.
Oh, that makes sense. But the submarine has this sort of, like, technological film over it that allows it to travel through the dream realm without being corrupted by it. So whenever anyone leaves the ship, they have to wear these big, bulky, like, sort of space suits, sort of like submarine, like submergent suits, in order to, like, maintain their own, like, physicality. Because if they get, like, skin exposed to the dream realm, they'll start turning into, like, a dream monster or something. Like, they'll, if they're in, like, a dream where it's they're stuck in a zoo, right, fighting off gorillas who all like have iPhones or whatever.
Of course, yeah.
They would eventually, like, if the space suit got ripped, or somebody like was just in normal clothes in that, they would eventually turn into a gorilla. Like, they would become part of the dream, and then they would become, they would be
part
unable to be saved.
Part of the crew.
Exactly, but the opposite. So yeah. So the idea for this is really to create these not horrifying, but like these weird, demented dream worlds, like, and, base those off of real world traumas and problems that people are dealing with in their dreams. So that's kind of the idea as the writing team. That's what we would be doing. We would come up with...
It'd be a fun writing team, because I can imagine, like, the writer's room where it's like, all right, yesterday this was my dream, how can we make this the episode? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
How do we write this in? Because you just have like this was a really weird dream I had. Mm-hmm. And then you can change it and adapt it too.
Yeah, and I want each of the characters, each of the main 3 characters, and obviously more of the crew can be like people that talk and stuff. I just hadn't written personalities for them, but I also thought it would be funny if we just had 2 characters who they were like the lowest rung of the ship, and they had to like clean toilets and stuff, but they would just see all this weird nightmare dream stuff happening outside the window, right?
Oh.
So that would be more of like a comedic foil to the rest of the show, because the rest of the show's not very funny, right? It's funny, but in like a horrible way. So that's kind of the setup for the show, and then the rest of what I have written down is just different weird dream realms that I would be interested in seeing through, you know? So the first one is there's an entire...
Insomnium.
Insomnium. That's
Submarine.
good. I think...
Insomnium is nightmare in Latin.
I think Insomnium would just be a good title.
Insomnium. Insomnium.
Insomnium. I just wrote it down. Insomnium. That sounds like a nightmare aquarium.
Is nightmare in Latin.
Insomnium aquarium. That's yeah. Do an aquarium for nightmares. That would be fun. But the first dream world that I thought of, because I was like, I just want to make this weird, is it's an ocean made out of teeth, right?
Oh.
Like an entire ocean.
I've had that dream.
Yeah, me too.
No, I haven't. Just
well, I have. And it's just like, imagine, they're riding in the submarine, like the captain's at the front of the ship, right? And they're just going through this kind of like black, inky, it's sort of like space, but it's also got like the consistency of like dust, like this sort of dream dust, right? This dream sand. And then eventually you just hear a clack, clack, clack. Clack, clack, clack,
yeah.
Clack, 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 and it's like you think it sounds like rain at first, and then it becomes so harsh that you look outside and it's just teeth running up against the like side of the ship.
Goddamn teeth.
And like all of them
stealing our jobs.
Yeah, it'd be weird. And then there are a bunch of fish that live in this sea of teeth, and they're all made out of fingernails, right? And then it's just like trying to navigate this sea of teeth. I didn't really have a super robust like plot for that.
Oh, I got you.
Okay.
So they're on the sea of teeth in the submarine, right? Mm-hmm. And have you seen the episode? I'm thinking of the episode of what's that show?
Doctor Who,
Robots,
where there's a robot.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah. The ship episode. So we have to have some crazy.
Season? Yeah.
Yeah, latest season. There's some crazy teeth monster things that are attacking the submarine.
Yes.
And they got to deal with. And maybe the monsters. Now I'm thinking of Adventure Time. Maybe the monsters are a manifestation of someone on the ship's fear. Mm-hmm. Or maybe everyone on the ship's fear. And so everyone on the ship has to like deal with their fear, so that they can. This is kind of a wholesome episode.
Yeah, that is kind of wholesome.
So that they can stop getting murdered by these monsters. So it's it's wholesome, but also there's terrifying, like disgusting
teeth monsters.
That are attacking the ship. So it's like a horror.
Yeah,
wholesome.
Here's an idea for the jumping off of that episode from Love, Death, and Robots where there's that crab thing, right?
Yeah.
What if one of the teeth monsters gets onto the ship and the reverse thing happens to the monster? Like if the people go outside of the ship, they turn into a dream creature, but the creature comes onto the ship and it slowly starts transforming into a person, but its mind remains as developed as it was when it was a teeth monster.
Oh, so it's like Among Us now, and there's like an imposter on board.
Exactly, and it's like this weird creeping teeth monster, and you don't know who it is because maybe there's like they find a dead body and its face has been stoved in and its clothes have been stolen. And then
so they figure that out, and they're still trying to like, we can put all this together. So we have like this monster that's becoming human. We have this like fear plot. Mm-hmm. So we have like a nice A and B going on, and well, you got a lot of crewmates that don't matter, so...
Yeah, exactly. We can kill lots of people. But like, yeah, we could have the captain because she's all about, you know, solving a problem yourself. She's the one who's hunting down the like tooth monster that turned into a person. And then you can have Ryan and Heather, and they're like opposing viewpoints are working together in order to like try and solve this problem so that the crew can like be you know, not scared. So like Heather's first idea is, why don't we pump a bunch of drugs into the you know, ventilation in order to like induce you know, euphoria so that they're not, you know, terrified. And Ryan is like, that's fucking no, we can't do that because it's horribly unethical, and also what if something bad happens? We'll also be in a state of euphoric like bliss, so we won't be able to do anything either. And Heather's like, yeah, okay, I guess. And then they like, it ends with like they've got to do like a group therapy session, and they're like having this group therapy session where everybody's talking about their like trauma and how to get past it. And meanwhile, and we cut back to like intersperse with the captain just like having this out and out like brawl with this tooth monster that's like turned into a man, but he's like going crazy because he's used to being a tooth monster, so he's like been taking the teeth from the people he's murdered and like slowly been inserting them into his skin, so he's like all his bones are like coated with these teeth, and he's like got like tons filling up his jaws and stuff. That would be cool. Yeah. And that's the first episode.
I like it. It's a fun episode.
That's a fun episode. And then the next episode I had written down was the sitcom idea, where we can have Ryan, and he's in this sitcom that's like similar to, you know, like Family Ties or something. Like something
you can have like a nice WandaVision feel to it too, where it's like breaking apart.
Yeah, and then, you know, just like the acts, the quote unquote jokes and like the antics that these characters get up to become more and more depraved until it's just this kind of like horrible, you know, nightmare orgy of violence, and he's just like trying to, you know, get back to his ship, and eventually you realize that he's just been trapped in the same room this entire time, and he's like completely alone, and he just
Somnus Submarine.
Oh,
Somnus is the Roman god of sleep.
Oh, Hypnos is the Greek god of sleep.
Hypnos, yeah, that's his other name.
Yeah,
but Hypnos doesn't really go with Submarine, does it?
No,
so I didn't bring it up, Charlie. Jeez.
I was trying to think.
Trying to one-up me.
I'm Hypnomarine.
Whatever.
You know? Yeah, I'll one-up you. I'll always try and one-up you. It's my favorite thing to do. Besides write TV pilots.
What is Morpheus then? He's the son of Somnus.
Oh. Listen.
But he's also the god of sleep and dreams. But so is Somnus.
Listen,
they
man.
Just share it, you know?
My only real knowledge of Greek gods comes from, I've been playing a lot of Hades recently, and one of the main characters is Hypnos Sleep Incarnate, so I've just been, that's how I remembered that.
So sitcom.
Yeah, sitcom. And then, you know, he realizes that the only way to escape this horrible, like, sitcom universe is to walk towards the fourth wall. And, you know, you think you're not going to do anything, you think nothing's going to happen, but eventually he just, like, bursts out of the fourth wall and, like, sees the ship right there and gets picked up. You know? So that's more of a singular character episode, so we can have another, like, B-plot happening on the ship that's a bit more whimsical. Right? Like, you know, the hull got pierced near their food stores, so all of the food has transformed into weird food monsters. I hate to interrupt again,
but for all the people that are really interested in Morpheus here, he's the son of Hypnos, and his job is to send human shapes to dreams, while his brother, whose name is hard to pronounce,
is it Morbius?
Sends animals in objects, inanimate objects, to dreams.
Well, I don't think anyone's interested in Morpheus. I think everyone is interested in Morbius, the greatest film ever made.
Let's go back to your pitch.
So yeah, we could have a more whimsical episode where like the dream hull cracked near their food stores, so their food is like slowly like transforming into weird dream food or something. I don't know.
At first, they think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it like tastes better because their food sucks. Mm-hmm. But then it becomes a problem because why?
It starts like, you know, because it's weird dream logic, they eat like you eat a strawberry, and then all the seeds of the strawberry in your stomach start growing, and like a strawberry plant just like grows out of a guy's eyes and mouth, you know? Because I think it would be interesting to take all of like whimsical dream logic and just apply it to real human anatomy and see how horrifying it can truly get. But that's just me. I'm a lunatic.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we have an entire world that is like, you know, in video games when your character is on a wall and they're inching across like a little ledge in order to get to another thing.
Yep.
Right? Just imagine a world that's all that. You know? Like an entire world that is just 1 inch of something of a ledge against...
Everyone's holding on.
Yeah, against an endless void. And the only way to actually, escape that world is to accept... Yeah. Is to accept that you're going to fall.
Oh.
You know?
That's the only way to wake up.
Yeah.
Is to let go.
Mm-hmm. Is to let go.
And maybe it's, we got to tie it to one of the characters. Maybe the character's has got a problem about letting go of something. Mm-hmm. Maybe like the death of someone.
Yeah, we could have
family member,
the
lover.
captain be.
We could slowly build up. This could be a later episode. We could slowly build up a love plot between two people, and one of them dies, and then this is the person letting go of them after they died.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that would be good. And then, obviously I think each episode would have an A plot and a B plot, and the B plot can be a bit less, heady. It can be a bit more grounded, but still, weird. My next world is like, have you ever had that dream where you can tell something's really, really off, but no one else around you can agrees, right? So that's kind of what I took off from this. So it's like you're in this small town where you can see this like silent horror that's like always behind the camera. So, whenever a character looks at the camera, they look directly above it, and then they like this horrified visage of terror like goes over their face, and then we cut to something else. But like this horrifying monstrosity that is unseeable and unknowable. And whichever of the main characters that we put in this town, maybe we'll put Heather. She is like fully capable of seeing it, but her voice has been stolen from her. And she's like not able to communicate to the people in this town the horror that's going on around her. So she's just got to watch as this entire town is like destroyed by this horrifying thing that you can't explain, right? Because dreams, I don't know, I figured this out when I was writing this pitch. Dreams are difficult to explain sometimes, occasionally.
That's because usually you just accept logic that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
On a side tangent, because of this podcast, people have begun pitching their TV show ideas to me.
Really? Oh, really?
And usually it's awful because they'll pitch a dream. Mm-hmm. And it's like it doesn't make any sense.
That's good.
Just to rat someone out real quick. The dream was that this person pitched to me is that there's two guys in a fight.
Uh-huh.
And like, they're really fighting.
Okay.
And then like the one guy, he's the protagonist. Mm-hmm. And he's like handsome.
Okay.
He ends up like on the side of the road with his thumb up.
Okay.
And he's like, trying to get picked up. Mm-hmm. And then that's when the love interest comes, and she like sees him.
Uh-huh.
But she passes him.
Oh.
And then she gets ready to turn around, but somebody else comes.
Oh.
And she picks him up because he's handsome.
Yeah.
That was all I got from the person.
That's pretty. That's like a good first 3 minutes, I guess.
I don't know if that was the order that it was happening in. I don't know what they were fighting over. None of that made any sense to me.
That's how handsome were we talking?
Handsome.
Okay, so is it like I was imagining it's that fist fight from The Winter Soldier with Chris Pratt and Sebastian Stan. They're doing that thing.
Yeah, Chris Pratt, yeah.
So, is it Sebastian
Chris Evans.
Stan? Chris Evans, yeah. Chris Evans. I mix them up. It's whatever. There's 3 Chris's in the MCU. I'm supposed to remember all of their names?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Man,
I do.
I only care about one of them. Chris Hemsworth.
Hemsworth?
No, I care about all the Chris's, I would say. I would say Evans is my favorite Chris.
Yeah, no one cares. So how's your show going?
My show's going all right. The next idea is I had the idea of doing, like, this is a kid's dream, right?
Oh.
Like, because kids' dreams are usually weirder than adults' dreams, because their, like, train of logic is much less less concrete. So it's just like, and kids' dreams are often much more, like, easy to understand because their, understanding of symbology is much less, developed than adults. So I just had an endless march through a desert, right? So it's just this huge caravan marching through a desert, but the entire desert is made out of hair, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not like good, healthy, clean hair. It's like matted hair that you would get in like the cracks of your car or like on your carpet, right? And it's all like matted together, stuck together with gum and blue tack and like dirt, and it's all nasty, and like skin is hanging off of it and stuff. And this entire crowd is marching, and everyone is following this thing, this like crowd of people, until eventually they just like march off the edge of the world to death. But nobody knows that, so it's just an endless march. And like the main character is trying to convince these people. I think that would be a good one for Ryan to do in. Like, that's his episode because he's the most empathetic of the 3 main characters. And so he's like, the entire episode is him trying to convince these people that they're just walking toward their inevitable death. And the end of the episode is realizing, well, that's what life is, isn't it? Everyone's has an inevitable death. They're just all marching towards it. If that's what they want to do, let them do it. Man, that's kind of my idea. And the dream, like the person that dream comes from, is there's a child who was lost in a mall, and then they had a dream about it later that night after they got found in the mall. Because not all dreams have to come from like real severe traumatic experiences. Sometimes they can just be from weird, like silly things that you don't even remember happened.
Yeah.
And the last dream idea I have written down is
Can I toss in an idea before you get to the last one?
I want to hear all your ideas because this isn't really.
This is just an idea of a character trait we can toss in for Heather. I'm thinking. I think that the physics of dreams are interesting, right?
Yeah.
Like the gravity and like the way the world, like whether it's like Looney Tunes squatch and stretch physics, or if it's like, you could just jump really high because the gravity's really low or something. Yeah. Like physics are always weird in dreams. So I think it'd be interesting if Heather, being someone that's interested in sort of like the Freudian psychology and more like the science, it seems like, rather than the people, you know what I mean? Yeah. Is also interested in like the physics of dreams. They get into a new dream, and she's like, she pulls out her doohickeys, and she's like, all right, gravity is 4.2 meters per second squared here. So there's a lot less. You'll be jumping really high. This is a Looney. Maybe she over the time she classifies it. She's like, this is a Looney Tunes dream.
We're tuning it,
you'll
boys.
You'll be squatching and stretching here.
Yeah. Maybe we can have.
If you see a piano, you'll survive the fall of it hitting you. Another time she'll be like, "Yep, normal physics here. You don't get hit by a piano."
Or maybe sometimes she'll lie to the crew member because again, she doesn't care about other people's lives. She'll be like, "Yeah, you'll definitely survive that piano," and like the crew member's like, "Okay," and they go and stand underneath the piano and get crushed to death, and she's like, "Did not survive
I guess not.
the piano." All right, good to know. Who else wants to help me with my tests? And maybe we can have a fun, or not fun, but like a reveal, like a later season reveal, that that Heather has this entire lab built within like a secret layer of the submarine, where it's like she has this kind of like plastic wall that she, stands on one end, and the other half of the room is able to be exposed to the dream atmosphere, right? So she just, like, will occasionally take a crew member and bring them back there to have them, like, to experiment on what happens when they're, what happens when you've got two people and you expose them to dream atmosphere at the same time. Do they become one person? Do they, like, what happens? And we could just do different things. And because the dream logic, this dream world exists outside of linear time, it can be a reveal that they keep getting new crew members because the crew members they already have keep, like, getting pregnant and having kids. And then Heather has, like, sort of figured out a way in order to, like, express the aging process so that they can keep having this pretty much endless supply of brand new crew members who are all, physically...
That's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it's really fucked up.
I don't know if you want to go that fucked up, because then Heather is an irredeemable character.
But...
At that point. Do you really want to, like, make her like that, where she's not a likable character? At that point, the audience won't like her.
I... Kind of... A little bit, yeah. I mean, it is fucked up, but, like, the final reveal of the series... I'll tell you the last dream idea I had, and then we'll get into the, like, final reveal of this season 1 finale sort of situation. So the final dream I had is, because I'm very interested in, like, black and white, like, movies from the 30s, right? As being kind of, like, I think that's a very surreal style. So it would be cool if in one of the dreams they were just trapped inside of this movie theater, and, like, you're stuck in the seat, you can't get up for whatever reason. Either you can't, like, force yourself to get up, or you're...
Clockwork Orange type stuff.
Yeah, something like that. And you're being forced to watch these, like, black and white films of you, like, your body, your, like, person, doing all of these horrible, horrible things, right? And, like, just occasionally it'll be like, oh, he set fire to an orphanage. And then you'll, like, watch that, and then it'll, you flamethrowing an orphanage down, and then it'll cut to, the...
You at school without your pants on.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it'll cut to the little text thing that's, like, that happens in black and white movies, and it's just like, ah!
So it's like a silent film.
Yeah, it's like a silent 30s black and white film.
Black and white films without... With sound, right?
Yeah, I know, but not in the in the 30s and not in the 20s. I was thinking more of the original Nosferatu. That was kind of the like vibe I was going for this episode, right? And so the final reveal of this series is that like a couple of days after they made it into the USP, Captain Sharon Willis received a communication from the U.S. government and has kept that communication completely silent. So the employees of the ship, the people put on the ship, were told that they would be able to communicate with the outside world at points, like letters and, messages would be able to be exchanged back and forth, and they haven't been able to do that. And Sharon... the captain keeps explaining, oh, it's because this happened, or this happened, or this happened. She's obviously stalling. And eventually there is, like, a sort of, not a full-on mutiny, but kind of like a half mutiny, half rebellion, where they're trying to, like, they want to know what's really going on, because they know that the captain's lying to them. And she eventually finds out, and this is the same secret that Heather had like knew of, and was able to hold that over the captain's head in order to continue her immoral experiments. It turns out that the world destroyed itself just shortly after they were sent into the USP. Like, nuclear fire destroyed the entire planet. So they are completely alone in the universe now, right? They have no way of getting back to Earth. They have no way of getting back to a plane of, like, their own physical reality. They are forever trapped inside of this dream realm where Like, everything is always constantly happening, and it's kind of, you live in this infinite loop of death and unreality, right? And then, you just see the ship. You see the submarine, the final, like, shot of the submarine slowly backing up as we back into the, like, infinite blackness, and you just see this one submarine, like, outlined with this shimmering white light that's, like, contrasted against the infinite blackness of the dreams. And there's no stars, there's no nothing. And that's the final shot. And we can have a fun song, And then maybe we can have a season 2 that's a little bit funnier, a little bit sillier, and they've all just kind of accepted.
Strawberry Fields Forever. Yeah. That's the song.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be good, because then it's like...
There's lots of meaning. Forever. Mm-hmm. And you can, the second season can be a bit more comedic because they've all accepted their death, because they all know that...
I don't know if you can have a second season after that.
Yeah, maybe not.
Because then it's like, it's the end at that point.
Yeah.
Once you do that, it's over.
Yeah, that's my series. What was it? What did we end up calling? Insomnium?
You still go with Dream Submarine, I don't know. I was just saying thanks.
Or Dream Submarine. Whatever. I think Dream Submarine is more of a fun name, but it's not a very fun series. Now that I've explained all of it, it's not a very fun series.
Now that it ends with the Beatles song, you should call it the Black Submarine. The Orange Submarine.
That's not bad. Black Submarine. I was thinking maybe I should tie it in a little bit to the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. Because I do kind of want that to be... Maybe we should call it the Blue Meanie. Like the actual boat, like the submarine itself is named the Blue Meanie.
It's called the Walrus.
Yeah. Or the Walrus, the Blue Meanie. I like it. That's about it. That's all I got.
Nice. Can I tell you where how I thought it was gonna end?
Yeah, please do.
I thought you were going somewhere else. I thought the ending was they actually just they can't get them out. They thought they could, but there's no way to get them out. So the world outside's fine, but they want to get out. And one of the scientists, maybe Heather, I guess Heather would probably be good for this, says, like, I think if we just, like, she has this theory that if they just go out into the dream, they're always afraid of going into the dream because they think it will turn them into the dream and they'll, die and stuff, right? But that she thinks will actually bring them back to reality.
Oh, okay.
And so maybe you have to have some whole epic build up. So they got to do like some big fight against one big dream or something, or like all the dreams beforehand or some crazy thing, right? A dream monster. Maybe they have to dissolve themselves beyond a giant dream nexus with a big giant dream giant.
Dream kraken. That's like
they gotta fight,
them.
right?
Yeah.
And so they got to get past that, and they have to dissolve themselves in the dream there. And they get there, right? And you do an Inception ending. You get who do you think is like the big protagonist in this? Is it the captain?
I think Captain Sharon Willis is the big protagonist.
Okay, so Captain Sharon is the final shot. Maybe she has a kid or something.
Oh, maybe she has the dead kid.
She dissolves herself, like, in the whatever. The kid's got to be alive for this ending. So she dissolved herself, and she wakes up, and she's at like, the U.S. government lab or whatever, wherever they put themselves.
USPS lab, yeah.
USPS lab, yep. USPS. And then she like goes home. Everything seems normal, right? She's like, we made it out. I'm okay. And she sees everyone else, and she's like, oh my God, we're gonna make it. I'm gonna go home. I got to see my kids. And she goes home. And we have like a similar ending to Inception. She goes home, she hugs her kids, and maybe she puts down like her watch. She has a stopwatch. I'm saying that for a reason. You'll see in a sec. She puts it on the table, and it starts to droop, like persistence of memory.
Ooh, I like that. Just a little bit, just like the ever so
we get like
slightly.
The close up, just like in Inception. We get the close up of the stopwatch, and it's just like right before the camera cuts to the credits, you see it droop just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and then cut. Strawberry Dream, Strawberry Fields Forever.
Yep.
That's cool too. I like both our endings.
I like that final shot.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really big fan of. Like that boom, and then you're like kind of unsure. You're like, did it end? Did it not?
Did it not? We'll see if Netflix makes a season 2. They won't. Thank you very much.
They won't. Well, because it's kind of a ending there.
It'd be like if they made Inception 2. That would just be dumb. I don't want to see a second Inception movie. But thank you.
If they did it again, they'd have to, like, make my show dreams.
Yeah. If they did it again, they would have to make Leonardo DiCaprio the bad guy.
Or not. It would have to be a sequel that doesn't involve any of the original characters.
Yeah, except for Tom Hardy. Is Tom Hardy dead at the end of that movie? I can't remember.
No one died.
No one died? I thought at least one person died. Well, his wife died, but that's... No one died. Whatever.
No one died at the end of that movie. Remember, because they're all on a plane. That would have been awkward, right? Somebody's dead on the frickin' plane. And they're like, how did you die? And I'm like, I don't know.
Did he piss himself on the plane, or did he piss himself in the van that was going like a quarter of the speed?
I don't think anyone pissed themselves.
I'm pretty sure somebody pisses themselves in.
I don't want to look up who pissed themselves in Inception, so somebody watch the movie and comment below.
Somebody who watched Inception, tell us who pissed their pants, and also tell us which ending do you like more, Jake's ending or Charlie's ending. Just put it down in the comments below.
Or if you have an idea of how you can do both.
Yeah. Or if you've got a better idea, write it down below. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you all for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I've been your host, Charles Long. With me, as always, has been my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. If you like what you heard here and you want to hear more, please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. Tell anyone who will listen. Tell a deaf guy. He'll be like, huh? It'll be good. And please come back here next week where Jake will have a television show for us, and he told me that it was going to be very sexy, his TV show.
I haven't written it yet, so he's a liar.
Very sexy. Very sexy. All right.
Actually, just for a little sneak peek, I wrote the pitch yesterday for it. Realized it was way too similar to one I've already done, and scratched it.
Yeah, I've done that a few times too. It's all good.
I was like, I already did this. Whoops.
Well, this show was almost going to be, like, the idea I had originally for this TV show was a bunch of, like, D&D style adventurers, but they're in space. And I was like, that's just taking two things that we've done already and putting them together. That's not very fun. So, thank you all for listening, and goodbye. I love you.
Bye.